Dad's voice was flat. "If you insist on coming, don't call me your daughter." Then the line went dead. And so did my last shred of doubt. I stared at the call log, the silence buzzing louder than the ringtone ever had. He'd hung up without hesitation, like I was the embarrassment they kept in the attic. The last thing I'd said was, "I'm not asking, I'm coming." And now, apparently, I wasn't just uninvited, I was undaughtered. I set my phone face down and opened my laptop. My fingers moved without emotion, just clean precision, like I was running an audit. Bank login, utilities, credit cards, groceries, even the security system. Every monthly bill I'd covered quietly for the past 2 years. Gone. I hovered over the last recurring payment, $126.47 for their internet. My thumb paused. Then I whispered, "Let's see how they manage now." Click. Cancelled. In total, I'd eaten over $15,000 worth of family debt since Dad's heart surgery. Never asked for a thank you. Never brought it up. They never connected the dots, which was exactly how I preferred it. Until now. I closed the laptop and leaned back, staring at the kitchen ceiling. 3 missed calls from Mom, still flashing. 1 unread voicemail. I didn't play it. Instead, I poured a glass of Merlot and scrolled through my work inbox. That's when I saw it. Subject, hiring transfer, pending approval. I clicked it without thinking. Standard onboarding paperwork, employees transferring divisions. I scanned the spreadsheet, half distracted, until my eyes locked on a name. Prescott, Liam T. Department Transfer, West Coast Finance, Strategic Growth Reports to Nicole Warren. I froze. Liam, Claire's boyfriend. The one they'd been bragging about since Easter. The CFO track, finance guy, with the perfect smile and expensive shoes. And now, apparently, my direct report? I opened his internal profile. Confirmed. Same headshot as the one in Claire's phone wallpaper. I didn't laugh, didn't smile. I just sat there, heart thudding low and steady, as the bigger picture rearranged itself. They disinvited me to keep their perfect little narrative intact. Claire's the successful one. I'm the awkward one. The tech weirdo. The quiet one who works in science or whatever. Except they didn't know. They didn't know Liam would be reporting to me. They didn't know I'd built the company he was now transferring into. And they sure as hell didn't know what I could do with that. I clicked over to the next tab and opened my family's group chat. They were already planning Mom's birthday brunch. Guest list, catering, the works. And I thought, perfect, let the show begin. The next morning, Mom texted me like nothing happened. "Nicole, can you make sure the thermostat's fixed before guests arrive?" Claire said it was acting weird. No apology, no mention of Dad's threat. Just an order. Like always. I stared at her message, then flipped open the home expenses folder I'd kept on my desktop. Every payment I'd made in their names, neatly categorized, backdated receipts, confirmation emails, screenshots. I could have sent it all. Could have forwarded every one of the 87 payments I'd made. Instead, I typed, "You'll have to figure it out. Good luck with the party," and left it at that. Later that afternoon, the first alert came in. Alert. Unpaid utility. Water service disruption scheduled. I'd cut that off too. Quietly. 2 weeks ago. Just after Dad's call. The storm hadn't hit yet, but it was coming. Meanwhile, at work, I called HR. "Let me know when Liam Prescott's onboarding is complete," I said. "I'll schedule his intro call personally." They were thrilled. "Will do, Nicole. He starts Monday." Perfect timing. I pulled up my calendar. Monday, Mom's brunch. Monday, Liam's first day. When I tell you I nearly smiled, it wasn't revenge. It wasn't even satisfaction. It was alignment. Every piece had snapped into place. And all I had to do now was let gravity do the rest. By Sunday, the group chat was on fire. "Claire, guys, the power flickered twice. What's going on?" "Mom, Nicole, can you please just handle it? The oven won't start." "Dad, this isn't funny. People are flying in." I didn't answer. I was across town, sipping a cold brew in a corner cafe, reviewing Liam's last quarterly portfolio. That night, Aunt Sharon called. I picked up. She was the only one who never treated me like a fluke. "Sweetheart, I'm not picking sides," she said gently. "But things are tense. Your mom's worried you're upset." I just said, "I'm fine, Aunt Sharon. I'm just staying out of the way." She sighed. You sure you don't want to come? Claire really wants to introduce Liam. I looked down at the spreadsheet on my screen. I just signed the final approval line. Tell her to make it memorable, I said. He starts work tomorrow. Aunt Sharon paused. You mean I'm his boss. Then I ended the call. I sat in silence for a moment, watching the sunlight bend through the window. Tomorrow wasn't just Mom's brunch, it was opening night. By 10:17 a.m., my phone was vibrating non-stop. Claire, where's the Wi-Fi? Guess can't even scan the menu. Mom, why is the fridge off? Nicole, call me. Dad, fix this now or don't bother showing your face again. I muted the thread. I wasn't late, I wasn't invited. But I knew every inch of that house. I knew they'd prep the pastries first, chill the rosé second, and wait for the third course, Claire's big announcement, to hit right before dessert. I also knew that when the power cut out, the fridge would stall, the backup battery would fail, and the gourmet ice cream Claire insisted on would turn to soup. At 11:02, Aunt Sharon accidentally FaceTimed me. Her thumb must have slipped while trying to send a picture, and just like that, I was in. The camera showed her face first, then panned to chaos. Aunt Sharon's voice was shaky. Oh no, did I just? Nicole? I didn't say a word. In the background, Mom was waving her arms at a caterer. Claire was near tears in the foyer. Then Liam stepped into frame, holding a half-melted tray. He looked confused. Who are we waiting for again? Aunt Sharon whispered. Nicole. He blinked. Then his eyes flicked toward the phone. I watched recognition dawn. He tilted his head, squinting like he couldn't believe what he saw. Then he said it. Wait, Nicole. The room went still. Mom turned. Claire dropped a fork. Is that Claire? She's your sister? Liam asked. Then his voice dropped a notch. She's my new VP. I report to her. You could have heard a pin drop. Dad coughed into his napkin. Claire went pale. Liam looked around, then back at the screen. You're Nicole Warren? I offered the smallest nod, then tapped the screen and ended the call. I didn't need to say a thing. Everything worth saying had just landed. I leaned back in my chair, the espresso in my hand still warm. Across town, my family's fantasy cracked open. The golden child's boyfriend now worked for the one they'd erased, and the one they erased had let the truth walk in on its own. Not with noise, but with presence. They didn't call right away. Instead, I got silence, the kind that only shows up when a story breaks in half and no one knows what page they're on anymore. By Tuesday, Aunt Sharon left a voicemail. Nicole, I don't know what to say. That was, well, unexpected. Liam seemed surprised. Claire hasn't spoken to anyone since. I listened once, deleted it. Wednesday, Mom cracked. Her message came in as a string of apologies wrapped in excuses. It was just about image, Nicole. You never cared for big family stuff. We didn't think you'd want to come. Not, we're sorry. Not, we were wrong. Just we didn't think. That much at least was true. I didn't reply. I was on a call with Liam, walking him through onboarding like I would any other hire. Calm, polite, neutral. He fumbled at the end of the call. So just for the record, I had no idea. About Claire, about you, all of it. I know, I said. And I did. His confusion at the brunch wasn't performative, it was real. Will it be weird? He asked. I smiled. Only if you make it weird. That was all he needed to hear, and it was all I needed to say. By Thursday, Claire finally broke the silence. You could have warned me. Her text sat on my screen for an hour before I even blinked. Then another one came in. You knew all along, didn't you? I tapped out 3 words and never hit send. You erased me. Instead, I just closed the app and let the weight shift. Because it wasn't just about Liam. It was about every time she called me weird in public. Every time she bragged about her man, while pretending not to know what I did. Now she knew. And knowing didn't fix anything. It just burned the old furniture to ash. Late that night, a knock came at my apartment door. I didn't move, but I knew. They'd be back. Not with flowers. Not with regret. With desperation. With hands out. The same way they'd always come, when the lights flickered and no one else knew how to reset the breaker. But this time, I wouldn't be the one crawling into the dark. Friday morning, I found Dad sitting on the bench outside my office building. He didn't look up when I passed, just said, "Got a minute?" I paused, barely. He didn't wait for permission. "We didn't know," he said flatly. "If we had, maybe we would've." I turned, one brow raised. "Invited me?" He flinched, like the truth stung more than he expected. "I'm not here to argue," he muttered. "Your mother's upset. Claire's been crying." I folded my arms. "And what do you want me to do with that information?" He looked tired. The collar of his shirt was wrinkled, like he'd slept sitting up. "We've hit some issues. The power company sent a final notice. Internet's been off all week. Your mom's birthday photos won't upload. She's freaking out." I blinked. "Once. Fix it," he said softly. "Please." I didn't yell. I didn't snap. I just spoke, calm and straight. "I stopped covering your bills a week ago. $15,000. Gone. Quietly. Over 2 years." He blinked. "What?" "I paid your mortgage twice. Fixed the HVAC. Kept your heat on last winter when Claire forgot the bill was due." His mouth opened, then shut. "Don't act surprised," I said. "You were too busy managing Claire's spotlight to notice the hand wiring the bulb." He leaned forward. "Nicole, we never asked. Number? You just expected." He nodded slowly, like the weight was finally hitting. "We didn't mean to." "I know," I cut in. "That's the problem." He looked older than I remembered. Smaller. Not the man who used to mow the lawn with pride or lecture me on grit. Now he just sat there, in the same suit he wore to church, asking his daughter to rescue him. Again, I let the silence hold between us. Then I stepped past him. "Tell Mom to try mobile data," he called after me, voice cracking. "So that's it?" I didn't turn around. Because yes, that was it. He didn't know the difference between being cut off and finally being seen. In the elevator, I stared at my reflection in the mirrored walls. Still me. Just not the version they remembered. The one who quietly paid, who swallowed disrespect, who sat in the corner while Claire made toasts. That girl had stepped out. And this one? She didn't do rescues. Not anymore. Saturday night, Claire cracked. The first message came at 11:42 p.m. "I just think it's wild that you'd let your own family go without over some personal grudge." I stared at it, standing barefoot in my kitchen, waiting for the kettle to whistle. Then, "This isn't you, you're not cold like this. You've always helped. Always helped." Like that was the title of my role in the family. Not daughter, not sister. Helper. Utility. Silent foundation. The next text made me pause. Liam asked why I didn't tell him you were my sister. I didn't have an answer. I set the phone down on the counter and opened the drawer where I kept all my saved letters, receipts, emails, screenshots. Not for vengeance, just for memory. The last time Claire had thanked me. A text from 2 Christmases ago. "Ugh, the wreath looks so good, you're so handy, wish I had your brain." That wasn't gratitude. It was utility praise. Boiled down, dressed up. I made tea and ignored the next message. She didn't stop. "He's acting weird now. Formal. Distant. I think you poisoned him against me." I exhaled sharply. Projection. Always projection. She couldn't imagine a world where consequences came from her own actions. It had to be me. My fault. My manipulation. I replied just once. "I never exposed you. The truth did." Delivered. Read. No reply. The next morning, Mom called. Straight to voicemail. Then a text. "Just tell me what to say to make this right." That one made me pause. It wasn't the wording. It was the assumption that an apology was currency, that a sentence could reset years of being the second priority. At 3:08 p.m., I stepped into my office. The city stretched wide outside my window. Emails were waiting. One from Liam. One from HR. One from Claire. Her subject line, "Please help me fix this." I didn't open it. I just clicked once, marked it unread again, and left it sitting in limbo. Because Claire didn't want to fix us. She wanted to fix the optics. The story she told people. The illusion she sold at brunch. But I didn't owe her clarity. I owed myself peace. So I let the message sit. Unread. Undisturbed. Just like I'd been for most of my life. Only now, I chose the silence. Monday came like any other. But this time, the world shifted on my terms. Liam showed up early. Pressed shirt, sharp haircut, a tight smile that said I've been rethinking everything. I met him in the main conference room. He extended a hand. Good morning, Nicole. Not hi again. Not sorry about the chaos. Just professional. Cautious. Smart. Morning, I said, motioning to the seat across from mine. He sat, still a little stiff. I wasn't sure if this would be awkward. It's only awkward if you bring personal baggage to a professional space, I said, calmly, opening my laptop. His eyes flicked up, and for a second, I saw it. The recognition. That this wasn't the girl who used to eat at the kids' table while Claire held court. This was a woman with a department, a corner office, and hiring power. I clicked through onboarding tasks. You'll shadow growth strategy this week. Next week, you'll join my Monday briefings. He nodded. I read your white paper on adaptive trial frameworks. I paused. You did? He smiled faintly. I stayed up till 2 a.m. It's brilliant. Honestly. That was the first real moment. Not because of the compliment, but because he said it like he meant it. No edge. No awe. Just honesty. When the meeting ended, he lingered a second. For what it's worth, I'm sorry I didn't know. You didn't need to, I said. You'll be evaluated on your work, not your girlfriend. A beat. Then he nodded again. Ex-girlfriend. I didn't react. He left the room. I didn't watch him go. By noon, I had 3 new emails from Claire. One marked urgent. The last line. He won't even answer my calls. Please just tell me what to do. And I realized something. She still believed I held the lever. That I could undo it all. But Liam didn't leave because of me. He left because she built a relationship on a lie of superiority. And when the illusion cracked, so did the connection. That had nothing to do with me. I opened her message, typed 1 sentence. He left because of who you are, not what I said. Then I hit send. No punctuation, no flourish. Just the truth, delivered like a final invoice. Tuesday morning. I woke to a flood of messages. Claire had tried every channel. Email, text, even LinkedIn. Each one more frantic than the last. You're making me look like a liar. He thinks I was ashamed of you. I told him it wasn't like that. We just don't talk much as a family. Can you please just tell him this is a misunderstanding? I didn't answer. I didn't owe her that. Instead, I brewed coffee and took it to the balcony. The air was crisp. Birds loud. My world, silent and intact. At 9:13 a.m., my assistant buzzed in. Liam just dropped off a folder for you. Inside was a typed memo, his project proposal. Neat, ambitious, real potential. And at the bottom, a post-it. Thanks again, for being fair. That hit harder than anything Claire had written in years. Not because it praised me. Because it didn't excuse itself. It just acknowledged me. Fair. No one in my family had used that word around me in a decade. By lunchtime, Dad called again. Left a message I didn't bother playing. Then Mom texted. I can't believe you're turning Liam against us. He loved Claire. Even now, the default was blame. No one asked, what does Nicole want? What did Nicole feel? They only saw the wreckage of the golden child's image and went searching for a scapegoat, not realizing the ruin wasn't an attack. It was a mirror. At 3:37 p.m., Aunt Sharon called. This time, I picked up. I just had lunch with your mom, she said, sighing. She's unraveling. I know, I said. She posted some vague stuff online. Regretful daughter, broken family, that kind of thing. I didn't ask for the details. I already knew the tone. I'd seen it before. Guilt wrapped in poetry. She said you humiliated them, Aunt Sharon added softly. I smiled without warmth. Funny. I never said a word. Silence stretched. Then she asked, do you regret it? Not showing up? No, I said. Because showing up would have meant pretending I didn't exist the way I actually do. Aunt Sharon exhaled. You know, I always said you'd be the one to rewrite this family story. I just didn't expect it would be by walking away. I didn't say anything, but the words sat with me all night. Not because they were comforting, because they were accurate. Sometimes silence isn't surrender. It's the loudest rewrite you can write. By Wednesday, the family group chat turned ugly. First, it was Mom posting sad quotes about forgiveness. and how pride ruins families. Then Dad chimed in, tagging me publicly. We raised you better than this. Family isn't about keeping score. I stared at the message for a long minute. Family isn't about keeping score. But they were the ones who built a scoreboard and then got mad when the numbers didn't favor them anymore. Claire jumped in next. You're ruining everything. He's embarrassed to even talk to me now. Do you feel better? I could have answered. Could have listed every time they laughed off my achievements. Every holiday, they made me sit 2 seats away while Claire shined. Instead, I deleted the thread. No warning, no fanfare, just gone. Later that night, a private message slipped through. From Liam. Just wanted you to know. I submitted my first project today. Thank you for giving me a real chance. Short, simple, no guilt attached. That tiny message felt bigger than all the noise my family was making. Because it confirmed something. Respect earned honestly can't be undone by people clinging to their own myths. The next day, HR sent me a note. Apparently, Claire had called the office twice trying to catch Liam on the phone. He'd refused both times. Politely, firmly. I'd like to keep personal matters out of my professional environment, he told reception. I almost laughed, not because of the drama, but because they were finally learning something I'd understood for years. If you build your life on appearances, the first crack swallows everything. By Friday, the family desperation was clear. Aunt Sharon texted, no punctuation, no greeting. Your dad's coming to your building again, thought you should know. I didn't panic, didn't dread it. I just stayed at my desk, typing calmly as the sun dropped lower outside the windows. If he showed up, he showed up. If he begged, I'd listen. If he blamed, I'd walk away. Either way, I wasn't the same girl who begged for a seat at their table. That seat was gone. And in its place was something better. My own table. Built by my own hands, with room only for those who saw me fully. He came just after 6. I saw him from my window. Dad, in his old sport coat, pacing near the bike rack like he'd rehearsed what he was going to say, and now couldn't remember a word of it. I didn't rush. Didn't adjust my face. I grabbed my coat, turned off my monitor, and met him downstairs like it was just another meeting. He looked up like I'd surprised him. Nicole, his voice cracked. Thank you for coming. I didn't come for you, I said. I came because I didn't want security to escort you out. He winced. Fair. We stood in the lobby, the fluorescents above us buzzing like faint judgment. He held out a small envelope. It's a note. From your mother. I didn't take it. She has my number. He lowered the envelope. We're not asking for money, he said quickly. Not this time. Then what are you asking for? He hesitated. Looked me in the eye for the first time in years. To fix things. Help us understand how to fix things. I let the silence sit long enough to be uncomfortable. Then I asked, why now? He blinked. Because we're losing everything. No, I said. You lost me first. That landed. His shoulders dropped a little. We didn't think it would matter, he said quietly. You were always fine. That's exactly why it matters, I replied. You built this family around Claire's potential, and mine became your safety net. He didn't argue. Didn't even try. She's spiraling, he said. Says Liam won't answer her calls. Says you turned him. I shook my head. I didn't have to. He looked at the floor, like he was still piecing it all together. She said he asked why she never mentioned you, that he felt lied to. And? He swallowed. She told him you two weren't close. That part's true, I said. We weren't, she just forgot to mention why. I didn't let him reply. I stepped back, toward the elevator. Nicole, please, he said. We were wrong. Just tell us what you want. That stopped me. I turned. I want you to stop pretending this is about a boyfriend or a brunch, I said. This is about years. This is about what happens when you ignore a person so thoroughly, you forget they were the one keeping the lights on. Then I got into the elevator. And this time, I didn't look back. I thought after that, they might stop. But the next night, Claire showed up. At my apartment. In full makeup, heels, and a designer coat I'm 90% sure was a loaner. She looked like she'd dressed for court. Or war. She knocked twice. Firm. I opened the door, but didn't step aside. Her eyes were glassy. But not from tears. From panic. Can we talk? She asked. voice sharp with urgency. Please. I let her in, barely. She stepped inside like she expected a trap, scanning my place like it offended her that I had actual art on the walls. I need your help, she said. No preamble. I leaned against the counter. Be specific. Liam won't answer. I tried apologizing. He said he doesn't trust people who hide their families. He thinks I'm fake. I stayed quiet. She took that as permission to spiral. I told him you were just private, that we weren't close because of school stuff. But then he finds out you're his boss and I never mentioned it? Sounds like a you problem, I said. She snapped. This isn't fair, Nicole. You didn't even like him. Why do you care? I don't, I said. But apparently he cared about honesty. She exhaled hard. You have no idea what this is doing to Mom and Dad. They're acting like someone died. I raised an eyebrow. Interesting. I don't remember that level of grief when they disinvited me from their lives. She folded her arms, defensive. Okay, we messed up. You made your point. But what now? You just let everything fall apart? You think this is falling apart? I asked calmly. This is just truth taking up space. Claire's face twisted. I didn't come here for philosophy. No, I said. You came for control, same as always. She went quiet. I didn't do this to you, I added. You did this. You lied to him, minimized me, and built a relationship on image. She opened her mouth, then shut it. I can't make him come back, I said. I wouldn't even try. Claire stared at me, her voice finally small. So that's it? I nodded once. That's it. She turned toward the door. Just before she opened it, she looked over her shoulder. You were always the quiet one, she whispered. Until now. I didn't answer. Because I hadn't become louder. I just stopped swallowing the truth. Claire didn't message again after that. But Mom did. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a letter, folded into one of those pale pink envelopes she saved for sympathy cards and wedding RSVPs. Inside, cursive, careful, performative. Nicole, I don't know what's happened to us. I raised 2 daughters, not 2 enemies. Your father is struggling to sleep. Claire hasn't smiled in days. I know we've made mistakes, but haven't we all? Families fight, but they forgive. Don't let your pride make this permanent. No apology, just a polished rewrite, a plea dressed in pretty language. I read it twice, then tucked it back in the envelope and slid it under the stack of old receipts I hadn't shredded yet. That night, I opened the family account portal one last time, the one I used to cover their utility bills. It was still open, still had my name on it, still listed me as the primary. I clicked through the tabs. Power, water, internet. All overdue. The late fees alone could have covered half a month's rent in my old studio apartment. I hovered over the Pay Now button, heart still but hands remembering how easy it used to be. Then I clicked Remove Access. One by one, I took myself off the accounts. No explosion. No confirmation email. Just a blank screen, like it had never been mine to carry. The next morning, my assistant handed me a small box. Courier dropped this for you, she said, from internal mail. Inside, a sleek black notebook, a handwritten note paperclipped to the front. For the person who sees everything clearly and still chooses grace. Looking forward to learning from you, Liam. I ran my fingers over the cover, not because I was touched, but because it was the first gift I'd ever received from someone in my sister's orbit that didn't feel like a dare to prove myself. Just respect. No strings. That night, I sat on my balcony with a blanket and that notebook, writing the names of the things I'd stopped doing. Covering bills, explaining myself, softening the truth, waiting for a thank you, shrinking. Each line felt like stepping further into a room that was finally mine. And outside that room, my family would keep scrambling. Not because I pushed them into chaos, but because I finally stepped out of it. Saturday afternoon, I took a walk. No destination. Just soft flats, a hoodie, and the kind of breeze that felt like spring was thinking about showing up early. I wandered into the little bookstore on 4th, the one with the creaky floors and espresso that always tasted slightly burnt. Bought myself a new journal. No lines, just space. When I got back home, there were 8 missed calls, 3 from Mom, 2 from Dad, 3 from a number I didn't recognize but somehow knew. Claire's. I didn't check the voicemails. I already knew the theme. Guilt, dramatics, maybe a pinch of entitlement for flavor. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table and opened my email. Top of the inbox, a message from legal. Subject, Annual Equity Disbursement Update, Founder Class Tier. I clicked it, read the numbers twice, then leaned back and exhaled the slowest, quietest breath of my life. The company I'd helped build from a 6-person WeWork closet now sat comfortably in 8 figures. And starting next quarter, I'd receive distributions that outpaced anything my family had ever imagined, let alone respected. I wasn't just fine, I was thriving, and they'd never seen it coming. Because they never cared to look. Later that night, Aunt Sharon texted, "Just wanted you to know Claire's moving back in with your parents. Liam's not answering at all. Your mom's been posting dramatic photos of candlelight and cold dinners." I typed back, "I hope they light the candles with intention." Sharon replied with a single emoji. Fire. I smiled. Not smug, not cruel, just done. I didn't need an apology, didn't crave revenge. I'd had my moment. Clean, calm, public. Now they lived in the space they built without me, and I lived in the one I built without them. I closed my laptop and walked to the window. City lights flickered like a quiet choir of, "You did it." And for the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for someone else to see me. I saw me, clear as glass. Then my phone buzzed. New message. "Claire. The preview. He left because of you." I tapped it open. And just as I read the rest, a second message came in. This one from Liam. And it said something that made my breath hitch. "Thought you should know." I told her the truth. Then came the final line, right as I was setting my phone down. "You didn't ruin anything. You just revealed it." My phone buzzed again. "Claire." Calling this time. I didn't answer. Instead, I watched the text bubble appear, disappear, then pop back up. "Please, just tell me what he said. I'm losing him. I'll do anything." Then, "Tell him I can change." Before I could respond. Not that I would. Liam's name lit up my screen. A new message. Just 3 words. But they froze me. "Lunch next week?" And before I could stop myself, my fingers hovered over reply. Because I had questions too. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't the only one ready to talk.